when you think about greatness, when you think about Xavi, Zidane, Guardiola, Vieira, when they talk about the hardest and best midfield players, they talk about Paul Scholes.
I've interviewed Ferdinand, for example, when they were still playing. He used to go on about how ridiculous Paul Scholes was. Just the look on his face.
A lot of the greatest players what has ever lived have always spoke about themselves in high regard and sort of blown their own trumpet. Scholesy's never been like that. He's always been real laid back, down to earth, took it as it comes.
I rate him possibly as the best.
He's a genius.
Paul Scholes is one of Manchester United's greatest ever players, making an incredible 718 appearances for our club over 19 amazing seasons.
One of the all-time greats of the game, Scholes is known for his pinpoint passing and scoring outstanding goals.
Sir Alex Ferguson describes Scholes as the best English midfielder since Sir Bobby Charlton.
We have spoken to a wide range of people to get their views on Paul Scholes, players he played alongside, journalists, sports people and fans who adored him.
That's us.
Let us know what you think about Scholes in the comments below.
Well, I think as a player, people know him as probably the greatest midfield player probably of the last 20 or 30 years in terms of his ability, his touch, his awareness, his passing range, the ability to score goals. He's a genius. You know, when you talk about someone that I played with who was a great friend, whenever he was on your side in training, your team won. As a person, probably from the outside, probably quiet, unassuming, but when you get him on the inner circle of a dressing room, incredibly funny, dry sense of humour, always at the forefront of most things in the dressing room. Little bit of a silent assassin, really, in terms of the jokes that he plays, and got to say, one of my best mates. So he's a genius.
You know, all these people around the world, these great midfield players we've had the pleasure to watch, so coming out with some great comments of him. And when you speak to Paul, he laughs.
Yeah.
He just takes it all in his stride, you know. Are he having a joke? Was he drunk or something? But people like David, Zidane, you know, players, midfield legends, what roll off your tongue, who've won everything.
Very hard.
Guardiola saying he'd love to play next to him in the Barcelona team. David, Zidane, the best midfield player he's ever played against. That's Paul Scholes from Middleton.
I think,
you know what I mean?
Paul Scholes from Middleton, very hard for him to accept what a great player he was. He's very down to earth.
Is there one particular moment, maybe a goal or a pass, that you think of when you think about Paul being on the pitch?
Two moments, I think. Goal against Bradford from a corner, Beck's corner, edge of the box, volley, and then there was one away at Villa, wasn't there? And people will say, oh, that was brilliant. He used to practice that every single day, and Beck's used to practice that pass. And I think if you look back at like what made these players such great players was that they practiced those things every single day. That pass to the edge of the box, I never forget. You know, you just want it into the D on the edge of the box, and he'd practice that volley all the time. So when he scores goals against Bradford, Villa, Barcelona, out here in the Champions League, he used to do that all the time, and that was probably the two of my favourite moments.
There's always one, I remember, I think you'd be in the game, was it PSV, there's something like 80 passes, where they chipped the keeper at the end at the Stretford end.
Panathinaikos. Yeah, it was about 50 passes, wasn't it? And then he just chipped it over. Teddy Sheringham played again, and them two loved playing together. Look, he was a brilliant finisher. He was a centre forward in the youth teams. Then he went to a number 10. Then he turned into one of the best midfield players. And when you think about greatness, when you think about Xavi, Zidane, Guardiola, Vieira, when they talk about the hardest and best midfield players, they talk about Paul Scholes. That shows you how good he is.
Yeah, Paul Scholes, what a sublime player. I remember when he first sort of started breaking into the side, he seemed to be playing more as a forward, and it didn't quite happen for him. And you're thinking, okay, but then it didn't really happen for him. It's interesting. I've interviewed Ferdinand, for example, when they were still playing. He used to go on about how ridiculous Paul Scholes was. Just the look on his face. You know, so anecdotes about training, hitting trees 100 yards away, hitting someone's ear, that sort of thing. It's a shame it never happened for him really at England, but that was to do with the selection. But in terms of Manchester United, he's got to have a good chance of getting into their best ever team. I'm not saying he's in the first 11, but he's got a good chance. And considering what great footballers United have had, I think that says it all, really.
the volley at Bradford. We can go on all day, Tony. The man was a genius.
The tackles.
Great tackler.
Great tackler. Best tackler I've ever seen.
Worse, better than me and you, Tom.
And what did he do when he did a bad tackle? Just shrugged his shoulders and just walked off.
Yeah.
You know, but what a player. He passer of a ball, but he was also a leader in his own right.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He led that midfield, and people looked up to him.
I've got a t-shirt.
Great players looked up to him, Webby.
Yeah. I've got a t-shirt home and it sums him up, Tony. Gets up, goes training, gets showered, go home. That's what the man's all about.
Paul Scholes, getting the ball in his own half, left side of the pitch, and pinging it right across, switching it across to Ronaldo or Nani, someone who's on the right wing. Unbelievable passer of the ball, long range shooting. Could read the game so well. Legend of a player. There's always that debate on who's the better sort of midfielder in him and Gerrard. But I'm always going to say Paul Scholes, and when you've got legends of the game from all over the world talking about Paul Scholes being the best player they've ever played against, that speaks for itself. He's probably the reason he doesn't get the respect he deserves a lot of the time is because he's so quiet and mild-natured. A lot of the greatest players what has ever lived have always spoke about themselves in high regard and sort of blown their own trumpet. Scholesy's never been like that. He's always been real laid back, down to earth, took it as it comes. And that's probably not done his legacy any favours in terms of people sort of jumping on the bandwagon. But, all you've got to do is watch him play to realise how good he was. He's your everyday, down to earth, typical northern lad. And I think that's why everyone loved him.
Ferguson brought him back.
Yeah.
Brought him back. I thought he was gone forever. And he did well when he come back. But as a young lad, growing up with a group of players, he just shone.
I can always, you might have been there as well, Tony. I was at his debut at Port Vale.
Oh, Port Vale.
Port Vale, yeah. He scored and he plays at QPR. Scored some tremendous goals and important goals for the club. One thing what reminded me here, we're getting beat by Blackburn 1-0, going for the title, and he dances around 3 or 4 players, slams it past Friedel, who always had a great game against us. We went on to win the game 4-1. Solskjaer's last goal for United, by the way, that day.
Yeah.
But I can't say too much about him as a player. Superb.
A big disappointment was the 99 European Cup final for him. Yeah. Absolutely devastated for the man, along with Keno at the same time. But he got his chance to get that winner's medal. 2008.
Yeah.
Got it, and it was made up for him. It cemented everything what he's done in football, getting that Champions League
And also
final.
as well, what's just come to mind, the 500th appearance here against Liverpool, and he scores the opener.
A lot of appearances that way for any player. But that's how good
Because
he
his other
was.
midfield we had at that time, with like Nicky Butt around there, Keno, there's a fight for places.
Yeah.
I rate him possibly as the best.
Best midfield you'd ever seen at United, or one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, some people say that he couldn't tackle, and
He couldn't tackle well. I always say to him, "You can tackle," and he used to laugh at me. He didn't start every game, more games, but if you pick your best United 11 from that era, Paul Scholes is in the middle of that park.
Is in most people's starting 11 for Man United. He was just
Of all time as well, Tony.
of all time. He just a great player. I loved his shot. He's actually threatened to have a shot on me, but
I won't tell you what he said about that.
We'll see that. But what a thunder of a shot! Powerhouse. But like the powerhouse summed it up. Barcelona here, that goal. I mean, he just latched onto that ball. Wayward pass from a Barcelona player, latched onto it and got it in. That goal summed up who he was. Someone who came from midfield into the area, edge of the area, and just followed. How many times did you see them shots?
We can go on about his great goals and his great performances for both club and country, but like you're saying, if I'm picking my best ever 11 United of all time, what I've seen live, he's in it. Simple, he's in it. And there's some great midfielders there, Robson, Keane, we can go on forever, but Paul Scholes, absolute genius.
Yeah, great player, great servant for the club, and won everything. And anyone who played with Paul Scholes or against him only admired him for what he was. Just a pity about his tackling.
Tackling was great, Tony.
His birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks for his birthday. It's on the 16th of November, so we wish you all the best, Paul. Have a great day.
Yeah.
A better day you can in this lockdown, but like you're saying again, absolute colossal player.
One great player.
Great lad.
Yeah, great lad as well. Great lad.
That's what everyone had to say about one of the greatest players we ever had at Old Trafford. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for watching.